Mandela effect as well.
Yeah.
I noticed some people online saying like, "Holy shit! I had no idea that Sean Connery was dead." He died ages ago. He died like a couple of years ago.
Did he?
Yeah, and isn't there? I can't remember if it was in commemoration, but there's a statue to him, which is just his head.
I think I'm remembering the statue. What, like the head from what was that movie?
Zardos.
Zardos.
Yeah, it's not. If only if it was just a giant stone head, but no. But it's like a kind of. He looks a little bit like Lenin in it, actually.
Right. Where is this head? Is it
I seem to remember it. It should be in Scotland, right? But I don't think it is.
Be.
I think it's somewhere odd. Somewhere like it shouldn't be. It's like an out of place artifact. So it's like somewhere where he was once, where he had a beer or something. They made a head of him there.
That's probably what they're probably very proud of him coming for a beer.
Or something. Yeah, I can't remember if it was. It's definitely maybe it is in Scotland. I just honestly can't say. But it's funnier to imagine it somewhere like in a ditch in Croydon or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, a blusher.
What is it? I heard a few other like Mandelas recently.
Did I tell you about the Mandela? You know the one. There's a classic Mandela effect about the or Berenstain, as we refer to it. Sometimes.
It's nicer to call it a Berenstain.
Yeah,
than
I like
Mandela.
to call it a Berenstain.
It's a bit jollier.
Yeah, where does the Berenstain come from?
Berenstain is a Berenstain Bears.
Yeah.
But spelt Berenstain.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people remember it being the opposite way around. Stein, spelt like the classic Jewish last name.
Yeah.
Rather than Stain, which
is mental.
I think that's maybe a real spelling, but that's.
And how is it actually spelled?
Stain, like stain on a sheet.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to call them Beresteins. It's nicer than Mandela.
Yeah, Mandela, yeah.
Mandela's like easier to get into.
It just sounds a bit heavy. It sounds like we're going to get political.
Yeah.
With Berenstain, it just stays with the Bears, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, so the Walker's Crisps, back in the day, green was salt and vinegar, or the other way around. No, the salt and vinegar now is green.
Right.
Right, and I'm pretty sure... I think this is one that I remember. When I was younger, salt and vinegar was blue. That was it.
Yeah, and now it's what? Now it's cheese and onion blue.
Cheese and onion is now blue.
Right. Yeah.
And then I remember going onto the Walkers
website.
Yeah, going onto the Walkers website, checking it out, and they had a page on their Walkers website that said, "Oh, some people talk about the Mandela effect. Like it was that." It never was. Our colours have always been this way.
I love that they are so concerned about this kind of time travelling conspiracy theory that they have to address it on the Crisps website.
Yeah,
that makes me think it's like a serious thing. Like they're like trying to calm people down.
Yeah, they're like chill out, guys.
Yeah,
like, don't worry about it. So yeah, I looked it up and then I remember seeing it because I screenshot it and sent it to a mate and was like, oh look, Walkers say that it was never, it was always this way around. Their salt and vinegar was always green.
Yeah.
And their cheese and onion was always blue. I know some theories about this, that Golden Wonder, when we were growing up...
Yeah.
Younger audiences wouldn't even know what the fuck Golden Wonder is. Yeah.
Well, Golden Wonder is still around, right?
Is it?
I believe so, yeah. It's basically like their kind of budget maize snacks that you'd get in a corner shop usually.
Right.
Kind of
like they still own those?
I believe so. Yeah, Golden Wonder is still in the game.
I would imagine Walkers bought them out a fucking while ago.
There's also Red Tractor, who also big in the crisp game.
Red Tractor had like the little American.
Oh, they're so good. Those little football players,
the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks,
amazing, so good. Yeah,
they were great.
I love them. I feel like I had them not that long ago, but I don't know if that's just my brain.
I can still taste those quarterbacks. That was
they're really good. Really
that's
good.
Not just a mad night I had recently.
I'm getting some weird fucking Berenstain fucking flashbacks, like we've talked about this exact crisp thing on the podcast before. I hope we haven't. I hope we haven't.
I mean, we've definitely spoken about it before.
Yeah, have we? Yeah.
But
I remember so many crisps from my past that, like, I can remember.
Do you remember the little tomato ones? The little tomato.
Yeah, I never was really into that.
I love those little things. Yeah,
I remember there being a lot of like curry and chips flavour.
The Beano they were like Beano chips. They were like Dennis the Menace curry shop
Really?
Fucking, yeah, they
Was
looked
that
like
what it was?
Watsits, but they were nowhere near as well formed as a Watsit.
Yeah,
They
it's
were
like-
nowhere near. Like you look at a Watsit now, and they're impeccable.
Yeah.
They look beautiful.
Oh yeah, too small now though.
Yeah, way too small.
Or maybe it's just that my hands are massive and adult now. Though.
Probably.
Yeah. They also feel like they're crushing too easily under my teeth. You know what I mean? Whereas,
I used to like to take one little bite and then just push the whole thing into my teeth.
oh wow,
Strange.
Yeah.
Then I'd have all this mad Watsit
Oh.
mush to sort of deal with. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Sort of Nickelodeon's on. I'm crushing Watsits into the front of my teeth.
I know only children can come up with these bizarre ways of eating something which is really simple to eat. But yeah.
So the Walkers. So I checked their website and they said like no way, like no. And then somebody really recently I got sent a video and it said, check this out, and it was Michael Barrymore on his TV show The Strangest Things Kids Say, or What Kids Say. I can't remember what it's called, but What Kids Say the Strangest Things maybe. And one of the kids is like, Barrymore's doing his thing, essentially always just waiting for kids to say the strangest things.
Yeah.
So he's like, and he's moving on to the next.
This is a show for adults.
It was a show. It was like a Saturday night show. It was a
Right.
big Saturday night show. So I guess it was for the whole family. And but yeah, generally for adults to laugh at, because I'm sure kids would watch it and think they haven't said anything weird. That's normal. But like,
I'd find it comforting as a child to know that adults were watching a show that was essentially based around children. I'd be like, we've got you fucking by the balls.
we got you by the fucking what?
Because I would assume that parents, the last thing they want to do is watch a fucking talent competition with a bunch of kids, even
Yeah.
if they're mocking them.
Yeah.
I'd be like, nah, they're not interested in that. They've got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, they didn't want. As far as I remember, they didn't want kids that have got like talents.
They wanted basically.
They wanted just kids that are sort of unaware they're on a TV show.
Yeah.
And just to be like, what are you guys talking? They wanted to know. They wanted to be reminded of the like obscurity and absurdity of television itself.
Yeah, for sure.
The
yeah.
kids are like looking around. They're breaking the fourth wall.
Are they asking them questions like, "What do you think of like Nietzsche?" And stuff
Yeah,
like that? Are
things
they
like
doing
that. Yeah, things like that. Yeah. And so this one little girl, she's sort of had enough of Barrymore, so she's like, I've had enough. And he's like, all right, well, I guess I'll move on. He goes to move along to the next kid, and she pipes up again, and he's like, it's not your go anymore, it's this guy's go.
Yeah.
And that gets a big laugh. So Barrymore's back in, and he's like, could I get you anything maybe so you could just chill out, and I'll go on to the next one. She's like, I'll have some crisps. And he goes, all right, what flavour do you want?
Oh.
She's like, cheese and onion. It's like, cheese and onion crisps. All right, no worries. Can we get some cheese and onion crisps in? Please, looking around, everyone's laughing. We'll get some cheese and onion crisps. And, and then the crisps come in, the cheese and onion Walker's crisps come in, green.
No.
They're fucking,
really?
They're fucking green.
Is it like obviously green?
They're obviously green. They're bright green. Is it obviously Walker's? Now I'm thinking, I don't know, but it looks exactly like a Walker's packet.
Wow.
So
why would this big TV company, what is it, BBC, ITV? I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of them.
But why would they be fucking around with cheap crisps?
They're not doing cheap crisps.
Why are they doing Golden Wonder?
Yeah, they're not doing Golden Wonder unless that was the big crisp.
Unless what it is, just to make things even more fucking baffling, is that it's actually that they haven't got any cheese and onion. They've only got salt and vinegar,
and they're just
they've given it to her. They're like, this will work for the shot. They're like, she'll be pacified.
Possible.
We're moving on.
That's possible. Yeah, that is possible. But so it was like this video was like proof of the Mandela effect.
Wow.
Yeah.
There was somebody I was seeing the other day on one of the forums. There are big forums for the Mandela effect. There's one that's just called Retconned, which is the concept of like, in a TV show, or they often do it in like the Marvel movies where they've gone a bit wrong with like a movie and like people didn't like it, so then they just pretend it didn't exist and they like just change things around and start again.
Right.
They'll just go, forget about that fucking Spider-Man movie. That didn't happen. We're just going to pretend like that didn't happen and we're going to move on. It's happened quite a few times.
Right.
In different regards, with all sorts of series and things in the past. But yeah, so retconning is also just another term for the Mandela effect or for Berenstein.
Right.
But when you're talking about life. But yeah, some guy was talking about how he remembers first hearing about the Mandela effect when it came down to Fruit Loops and the spelling of Fruit Loops are an American cereal that we're not really familiar with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with them, but we never had them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Lucky Charms. We don't. Well, yeah. Now you can buy them.
Yeah, they came in, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not really a thing. But he remembers the spelling of Fruit Loops always being F-R-O-O-T, and he was shocked to realise that actually it was spelt fruit. And he remembers reading forums and forums of people talking about how amazing it was that actually it's spelt like normal fruit instead of fruit. And then he said things just switched back again recently. So now the spellings are reversed again for him, and all the forums he was looking at before, which were saying that it was fruit, was FR. Now they're shocked that it's FROOT and not originally the fruit. So the whole world is just going topsy-turvy, and apparently now he's having like a breakdown.
Oh, the poor fucking bastard!
But
man.
it's amazing that it's these little.
No, I feel bad for him.
Yeah, it's amazing that it's these little tiny things that are sort of chipping away at our sanity, and it's kind of like I mentioned in the last podcast about how I feel like the Americans they're very connected to like products and I mean we are as well, but even more so. I feel in America, it's like products and branding is like there's a warmth. It's kind of paternal, maternal, like the companies are you. And
that's how they work. It's almost how we work. It's just how things hook in. I don't
feel like in the UK though you'd get someone sort of like jumping on the Hellman's mayonnaise van and like weeping, but I feel like in America you would get that with a Coca-Cola van. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, what fawning over it?
Yeah, like actually crying on a Hellman's mayonnaise van, like that's never going to happen.
Yeah,
but
there isn't a Hellman's mayonnaise van.
You're saying there isn't? There is definitely a van somewhere that delivers specifically Hellman's mayonnaise.
Yeah, but is it branded?
Yeah, it will have Hellman's on the side. They're not going to. You think they don't advertise who they are in case people hijack the van. We'll get some fucking mayonnaise here, boys.
The idea that there's a van specifically taking cases of mayonnaise of Hellman's to individual places. That's mental.
We got one in Waitrose, one in Tesco. We got two.
That's not happening. That's not happening. Like someone's getting a case. All right. It might be happening.
It's happening somewhere.
But they're not taking them to Waitrose. They're taking them to... Yeah, no, it probably is.
Where are they taking them to?
They're taking them to the big wholesaler.
To the depot.
Yeah, to the depot. The depot.
The depot. Did you call it depot?
I don't know. Depot.
Johnny Depot.
Johnny Depot, yeah.
You take to the depot.
Johnny Depot at the depot.
How did we get into...
The Johnny Deposition.
How did we get into this? We're talking about... Oh, yeah.
Mandela effect.
The Mandela effect, the love of brands. But what I'm trying to say is that a lot of these Berensteins, these Mandelas, are all... people you could say misremembering, or didn't you remember that logo used to be like that? Like there's Fruit of the Loom is a big one that people keep bringing up. There's a t-shirt company.
I'm
a lot of heavy metal shirts used to have.
Well aware of them. Yeah, they used to thick cotton, and there was on the back they had like some fruit and a cornucopia like you get on the Stella Artois can. Yeah.
It was like a round thing, except that they never had a cornucopia. In those shirts, it was just the fruit.
Right. It's yeah.
Do you ever remember there being a cornucopia in the tags?
No, it's hard for me to say. I don't know if I took that much of a notice to Fruit of the Loom t-shirts. Cornucopia, is that kind of like a...
I don't actually know what it is.
Like a pine cone?
No, it looks more like an animal horn that's kind of on its side. You know the one in the Stella Artois? Unless the one on the Stella Artois is actually a trumpet. And I've just completely...
I think that's a trumpet.
I think it's a cornucopia.
I don't know what a cornucopia is.
Maybe it is a horn. It's a kind of basically like an animal horn that's put... Is it an animal horn?
Oh, like
some sort of horn.
Like,
it looks like that, but it's got an open like mouth, and it looks kind of like a sandworm. But with surrounded by fruit.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I guess I do kind of remember that.
Fruit of the Loom.
Yeah, I guess I do.
Yeah, I'm not really sure whether or not it's real or not. I can't really remember. It sounded very credible to me when someone said that, but maybe just the image of this cornucopia is something that we all know in the back of our minds from somewhere else.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's really interesting to ask people that were around in the Mandela days.
Yeah, how they feel about it.
I mean, that's interesting because we're too young to really remember that, right?
What Fruit of the Loom? Oh no, Nelson Mandela.
Sorry. Whether or not this is where it originates from, the concept of the Mandela effect being called that is like Nelson Mandela got elected as president once he was released from prison, right? After being a terrorist.
Yeah.
And then once he
after being accused of terrorism. Right?
Accused of terrorism, right? And then after, and then a lot of people were like, "But I thought he died in prison."
Yeah.
And that's the idea, isn't it? The split off between a huge like swathe of people going, "Didn't he die in prison?" And then a huge swathe of people being like, "Of course he didn't. He's the president."
For sure, yeah.
So that's the.
Yeah,
but we're a bit too young
these
for that.
Two, yeah, well, I don't know what years those really were exactly.
No, around the year, it's probably a few years before I was born. So at least 1932.
I had one the other day that I thought was interesting. Does E.T. actually refer to himself as E.T. in the movie E.T.? I don't know the answer to this either, which is great.
Yes,
I'm
he does.
not going to reveal. Does
Yes,
he actually say?
He says E.T. phone home,
Or
right?
does he say Elliot phone home? Does he actually call himself E.T.? Because is the kid actually saying to him, E.T., you're my friend? I don't remember him
Why
ever
are they
saying...
calling him E.T.?
I don't think they do. I don't think they call him anything. I don't think he's referred to by name in that.
For real?
I'm not sure, but if you think about it, if you remember...
Okay,
I don't remember...
I can't remember the
little Drew
movie, but
Barrymore?
what I do remember, 100% what I do remember is everyone for all my life going, E.T. phone home.
Yeah.
E.T. phone home.
Exactly, but I think he maybe doesn't... Also, why would he say that?
Why, he's not. He's calling himself an extraterrestrial.
Yeah, and how does he know what that even means?
He wouldn't know that.
I understand they've got a speak and spell machine, which is how they're sort of communicating, isn't it? That's how they're kind of... The early rudimentary... It's like he's teaching E.T. how to, like, write English or some shit.
Okay.
And during that machine, maybe he's like, I'm Elliot, you are E.T. Do you think he's saying that? And he's like, oh, okay, I'm E.T., you're Elliot.
Elliot's pretty smart to be like, oh, so you're extraterrestrial?
Yeah, that does seem a bit
That's
much.
pretty crazy
and
for
also,
Elliot.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy for him. And also, in a way, unwelcoming.
Yeah.
I feel, if he's saying that, he's like, mate, you're a foreigner. He's
Actually,
like, you're
no,
not from around here.
But then it's quite a nice thing, you know.
Yeah.
He's not just terrestrial.
No.
He's extra.
No, but really...
He's if Carlsberg made aliens.
But yeah, exactly. But actually, isn't really what happens here that Elliot meets a foreigner from round the corner from his house, brings him in, dresses him up in women's clothing and makeup, puts him in the cupboard. Isn't that actually what happened? And then he cries about it when the police take him away. He's like, bring my foreigner back. I want him back.
What?
Isn't that actually the plot?
Yeah, I mean, but you look at him. He's not. He's clearly an alien.
Yeah, he is.
Not just a tiny foreigner in women's clothes.
I think there's a possibility something's going on here. I think Elliot might be a bad guy.
Do you think Elliot's kidnapped the alien?
In a way, how do we really know that E.T. is even exhibiting positive signs that he wants to stay? But also, isn't it under his neglect? Isn't it under Elliot's neglect that he tumbles down a hill? He tumbles down a hill and almost dies in a river, and then they just chuck him in a bath as if that's going to make him. He's neglected a guest who he's forced to dress like a woman.
Yeah, that is true. He did neglect a guest. There's no truth. There's no doubt about that.
And he's repeatedly to his face calling him an ET.
Is he? Is he though?
Or is he? Yeah.
Is he? I think ET refers to himself as ET.
Yeah. Do you think he does? But he's just like, I'm ET and you're...
I remember.
That would be bizarre.
I remember he had a,
that would
he had a bright finger.
I imagine you
phone home.
you go to Bognor Regis and being like me, Cornishman. You Bognor Regis.
You Bognor Regis. Is that what they're called? Bognor Regis.
Yeah.
Bognarian.
Probably are called Bognorians.
Bognorians.
Yeah.
Fucking Bognorians.
Yeah, bugger the Bognorians.
Fucking Bognorians.
How do we get into this? I'm not sure. You read any news recently?
I've
very hastily read something.
I read a couple of things. Yeah. I read. What did I read? There's a. So around Halloween, there was a guy in. Where was it? I don't know, Florida or something like that. Anthropologist was like just walking down the streets, and he looks into one of this. He's looking around. He's in a thrift store, in America.
What they call a charity shop.
A charity shop, yeah. He's in a charity shop, and he's walking around, and they've got this great like skull like display, and he's looking at the skull, and he's like, "This is a fucking good looking skull." He's like, "That's good." And the more he looks at it, he's like, "This is an actual human skull."
Oh wow!
Right, and he goes to like the shopkeeper. He's like, is that an actual human skull?" And the guy's like, "I don't think so. I mean, it's just something we've had it in storage for ages. Really, I just thought it was cool. It's pretty good, isn't it?" And the guy's like, "It's a real human skull." And the guy's like, "Really?" And they've tested it. It's a real human skull. The guy had like an actual human skull that he bought at auction like 15 years before.
Wow!
In like a job lot of stuff. And it's someone's actual human
head.
skull being used as a
Halloween prop.
as a Halloween prop display.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
that is deeply sinister.
it's
I
mad.
wonder
They've
they
done
don't
some
think it's
testing.
any murder victim.
No,
or-
they've done some testing on it. I don't know. They didn't say that they know who it is.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they've said nothing suspicious going on here,
Yeah, yeah.
which I think is kind of classic America. But
Do you think have they buried it out of like kindness? Have they like done a little burial for
they
it?
just nothing else on that story.
No.
That was just the end of it.
Yeah.
I think they just like using the word anthropology.
Yeah, they're just like, I like the fact that this is an anthropologist just going for walks.
I know. I didn't quite believe.
Also, isn't
I didn't
anthropology
quite
is
believe
generally
it.
the study of cultures or something?
Yeah. It also mentioned that anthropology was the specific study of humans.
As if that would help him to identify a skull.
Where did I read that? I read it on Sky News.
Yeah, that's great. I wasn't even going that highbrow. I was reading like the Mirror.
Oh yeah. What you got?
What I came up with was, well, the first one is that it's the most underwhelming of all. Woman goes orange from eating too many carrots. I feel like I've been reading that article since the early 90s.
From the kid that drank too much fucking Sunny D.
Sunny D, exactly. It's the same. It's the same article again and again. And we're left, at the end of that article, we're left in exactly the same place we were at the beginning, which is like, right, where do we go from here? This isn't really news. We haven't learned anything. I don't feel better after reading it. I feel equally as shit.
Nothing's happened. Lady's
Nothing's
gone little
happened.
orange.
Yeah, and she's like, basically, I'm just going to cut out the carrots now. I'm just gonna... Brilliant. Wonderful. One woman slows it down on carrot intake. That should have been the headline.
Fuck me, that is some fucking news. I read about I read about the most inconvenient convenience store
How is it inconvenient?
in the world. It's midway down a cliff face, and the only way to get to it is by what do they call it when you go backwards?
Abseiling.
Yeah, the only way you can get to it is by abseiling.
I can almost guarantee you that it's got
Yeah.
really shit opening hours as well, hasn't it?
got-
They're only open between the hours of 1 and 3. And stuff like that.
Yeah, and there's only one guy that works in there. He has to abseil down in the morning, right? It's in China on this massive cliff.
Why have they done this?
I think because a lot of people like climbing it.
Right, is
So-
that actually important for people to stop on route?
It's not important for people to stop en route,
They like doing it to see if they can get
but people like climbing it,
Is
abseiling it, climbing it.
the way I'm picturing this right now is that
Also-
the cash register, the till we call it here. I don't know what sure
Yeah.
I'm calling it that. Is tilted backwards, like the whole shop is like abseiled.
It's actually
backwards.
It's quite an image, man. It's quite an image.
Can you
It's
stand
just
up
like-
straight?
It's just
in
like
the building.
it looks like it. It
Right.
looks like it. Yeah. It's like it's.
You
not
have to actually
really a building.
abseil
It's not
into
really a
the
building.
shop.
It's more of a shack built out of. It's not in the cliff either. It's not like you go down. There's a little cave, little cliff. It's like you go down the cliff. It's like it's built out of it. It's just like this box on the face of a cliff.
Oh, so it's like a flat face on the top of the thing.
It's like a flat-faced cliff.
Wow.
And then there's just this little box that looks like a tiny convenience
Wow,
store.
they must have made it out of a cave or something. They must have put a front on a cave. Do you think?
Yeah, maybe that's what
Can't
it
work
is.
out how else
Yeah.
would they have burrowed into.
But what I kept reading, and it's not really even a shop. I mean, it is a shop. It does sell stuff, but anyone that goes in there immediately gets a free bottle of water for just making.
I
it.
thought you were going to say wine.
Yeah, I fucking,
Like which it was.
I bet they don't fucking serve till 11.
No.
Bastards.
It would be real fucked up though if you abseiled all the way down there only to find that it was closed.
That would be just your luck, man. You
I'd break in.
I'm just popping down.
I would break in.
I'm just popping down the shop.
Yeah, there's no way that I'm letting
You're
that
down
happen.
there, fucking on harnesses, knocking on, like looking for cigars and fucking baby sham.
Yeah, for sure. But also, I'm breaking in, and also I bet they don't have a burglar alarm.
Oh, there's no way they've even got CCTV.
And it's like that tagline of Alien, like, even in space, no one can hear you scream or whatever. No one can hear this fucking burglar alarm on the side of this. I'm breaking in, I'm coming in, I'm taking my cigars and baby sham.
Yeah, it's actually...
I'll see you at the bottom of the cliff.
It's a pretty convenient place to steal from.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. The other story I heard was more bad news from Korea. That wasn't the headline, but I do feel like it's always bad news. It's never good. It's never happy news from Korea. No, this is actually South Korea this time, but it's still unhappy news. So basically, some dude was in a factory the other day trying to, basically, there was an AI-powered, robotic crane arm that was, massive, and he was trying to, tie in some screws to it, and it misconstrued him for a vegetable. It thought he was a vegetable, so it picked him up into the air and slammed him down on the conveyor belt.
Oh, no.
So this is one of I think under sort of 100 actual human deaths caused by robots, which is sort of like the beginnings of Skynet, Terminator.
I didn't think it would go like that in the movies.
No, exactly. It's just machines straight up.
Thinking that you're just produce.
Yeah, thinking you're a vegetable, yeah.
Yeah.
But that AI must have really gone wrong to think this man is a vegetable. I bet he's not small.
Oh, it depends what he looks like. He might have he might
He's
be a
been
rugby
eating,
player.
He's
like
been eating loads of carrots, so he's fucking orange.
He's bright orange. He's got cauliflower ear.
Yeah, don't send the Sunny D kid to fucking Korea. He's gonna get fucked up by robots.
That is fucked though.
That is sad, isn't it?
That is bad. That is really bad.
I feel like I've just brought down the podcast
That is
mentioning
really bad.
that. I'm sorry, it was just
That
sad.
reminds me of I keep seeing Teslas around and
Really?
yeah,
Not self-driving.
not self-driving. No,
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't looked if they're being driven or not. But,
Yeah.
but I don't see loads of them, but I've seen a few round, and I keep thinking, Teslas, eh? They're getting about.
Go on.
Weren't they just mowing people down for a
I
little
think
bit?
they were for a little bit, weren't they? I don't even know if they're still doing that. That idea of self-driven cars, is that still something that they're doing? I think they were just testing that out for a while. I honestly feel sad that I've been to Milton Keynes and that there weren't little robots. It was Milton Keynes that they were doing it, right? They were trialling little robots that delivered you kebabs.
Yeah.
If I'd seen one of
absolutely.
those while walking around Milton Keynes, I would have cried with joy to have seen a tiny little delivery robot going around. In fact,
They were definitely there.
Why is it that everyone isn't just pooling all their resources into making that a constant reality for us? I think everyone would be happier.
But it's true that we would just, well, maybe not we, but kids would just fuck them up.
Were they kicking them up? Well, the only video I ever saw of kids with those little robots were them helping out of the snow.
I saw that
when
one.
it got stuck.
It was amazing.
It's
man.
heartwarming.
It was
Also,
amazing. That's way better than E.T.
Yeah, why have Pixar not just made a movie about this little delivery robot?
I know.
Who gets helped out by children?
I know. They it's stuck in the snow. It can't move. It's trying to deliver its kebab. It can't do anything, and they're digging it out. They let it go. Then it gets on the way. All the kids are like.
They love it, yeah. Don't they even? I swear they even
fucking Seven, man.
Yeah. Maybe I've given this too much of a cinematic memory, but I feel like I remember him saying "Go on, mate," or "See you later, mate."
No, I think
or
you're
something
right.
like that as he goes off into the snow.
They like it.
Yeah,
they
it's
like
so
it.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I love how they got those little flags as well.
That was I don't know.
They were trialing it.
They were trialing it and I think they trialed it for a year or something.
And then they were done. I heard that it helped with the lockdown because there were people who couldn't get out, old people.
Couldn't get out for their
They
kebabs.
couldn't get the kebab, yeah. It's lazy as fuck, people. Yeah, but it probably was that.
It helped out the kebab shops too.
But so they trialed the little robots. Everyone loved them. And they're like, right, fuck it, we're not doing it. And then they trialed the Tesla cars that self-drove. It just killed everyone. They're like, we're not doing it.
Yeah, I guess
What's the point of these trials? What are they really trialing? Are they just having fun?
Doesn't sound like a good idea to trial things that kill people.
Yeah, I reckon what happened with those little robots, in all honesty, is they realised it wasn't financially worth it was basically cheaper to hire human beings
Oh yeah.
to slug their guts out 24 hours I mean, you've done it. You've worked for those.
Yeah, I've worked for
The apps.
I've worked for the Big D. Yeah.
Yeah, and and,
I worked
uh,
for the Big D on a Czechoslovakian 1992 moped.
that was a very cool time in all of our
Yeah,
lives. I
yeah.
felt that was particularly
Yeah.
groovy.
It was a moped with actual pedals,
Yeah.
and that's how you started it. You pedalled it on.
It was called a Jawa.
Yeah, a Java.
Yeah, Jawa,
So
yeah.
Jawa, yeah.
Like the little creature in Star Wars who's like got a little hood. He's just got two glowing eyes in the dark hood. He's called a Jawa.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, yeah. And
It
you were
was a
actually
sweet
part
little
of.
motorbike.
You were part of the club, right?
I had to become a part of the club to register it. When I bought it off a guy in like Peacehaven.
Yeah.
I went over there and bought it off him, and he was like, "Yeah, road legal, dude. It's road legal." I don't know where he was from, but he had an accent anyway. And he was like, "It's fucking road legal. It's fine." And I was like, "All right, are you sure? Because it's got an engine." And he was like, "Yeah, it's road legal." It had no license plates, right? Don't know how the fuck it came. So I had to get it license plates. So I had to register it as a real
As
thing.
a real motorbike.
Yeah, I had to make it road legal or whatever, and the only way I could make it road legal was becoming a member of the Java Owners Club of the UK. There was only 143 of us.
Wow.
I was the 44th.
Wow.
Right, so I became a member and then
44th.
took a 144th, but like took a load of pictures of it, sent it to them. Fucking cost an arm and leg. It wasn't worth it in the end.
Yeah.
But it was a beautiful machine. It was completely insane. At times I was like, just like driving it along the cycle path in Brighton. And I remember people looking at me being like, "You can't drive motorbikes." And I was like, "It's got pedals. It's got pedals, motherfucker." Like, its front wheel fell off.
Oh no, it did while you were on the delivery, right? That's terrifying.
Terrifying. It's in my brother's garage.
Did you just screw it back on for a little bit?
No, that's
I
the
seem
end
to
of
remember there being a time when it kept fucking up and you kept getting back on it, and I remember thinking
I know,
it was really
sad
dangerous.
for me, man. It was sad. It was sad.
Oh my god!
Because I was enjoying
You
working
also
for
had
the
this
delivery guy.
amazing helmet at the time, which is really hard for me to describe. It had like
That
what
came
did
with it.
What did it have on it?
It was like a strange shape. It was like bulbous.
It was bulbous, and it had
little-
like images on it.
Had some stripes and like maybe a surfboard, and it just said California.
It was so good. It was so the whole thing was like wild. It was wild
It
times.
was the bike was burgundy as well.
Oh,
The Java.
the jar,
Yeah.
yeah. Wasn't it all plugged in outside for a while, outside the front? I kind of see.
Yeah, it was all like locked out. It was
Anyway,
fucked up
I
thing.
digress.
I can't remember what you're talking about anymore.
I have one last story that I read about online. Bigfoot. They found him in Wales.
Oh shit! Nice.
They found him. I can't remember the name of it. I can't pronounce Welsh names, unfortunately. But it was in some forest. They found big tracks. They found. Strangely, the article was comparing it to Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille. How do you
Right.
say it? Shaquille O'Neal, the basketball. Shaquille O'Neal. Is that how you say it? I'm thinking about Shakira.
Shaq.
Like, ooh, baby, when you talk like that. I'm getting confused. I think it's Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah. They were
Shaq. You just call him Shaq.
they were
Everyone knows.
This is really shit fucking
this is-
podcasting right now, isn't it?
Everyone knows him as Shaq.
So anyway, they were comparing the size specifically.
Oh, because he's a big fucking
But
dude.
he's not a Welsh basketball player. That
No, but
confused
he's a
me.
big fucking dude.
Right, but they were saying it was approximately the same as. But I don't think they're suggesting that Shaquille O'Neal has been present
to Wales.
in a Welsh forest. But they were also saying that Bigfoot has assembled a hide, a plate, and it literally looked to me like, when us or a group of kids would put some woods together, but they're putting it all together and they're saying like Bigfoot has made a little nest for himself there. I've also never heard. That's the first time for me of ever hearing that Bigfoot had a nest that was like that.
Yeah.
I've
I've never actually heard of Bigfoot in
having a nest
in the British Isles.
Well, no, and that's an interesting thing. I've never heard of that.
We should go down there.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Let's go down there. Go track that fucking Bigfoot down.
I'd like
Sam
that. Yeah.
Squanch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, I think that's all the news that I've.
I think that's all the news we've got.
Right, how are we doing for time? 35 minutes.
Do you wanna?
Yeah. Ever climbed a mountain, never caught a fish. Ever looked to the stars and made a wish? Ever shot a bow and arrow in the dead of night? Ever read a map? Ever flew a kite? Ever put yourself to the test? Do your best.